Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
What's up, Hockey Think Tankers? Welcome to another Short Shifts episode this beautiful Wednesday, sponsored by Skate Tech. And in case you didn't know, Skate Tech skate sharpening and equipment repair brings you NHL quality service at an affordable retail price. With over 23 years of sharpening and equipment customizing experience, Skate Tech serves as your personal equipment manager, providing the highest quality skate sharpening, blade profiling, team uniforms, and equipment alterations available on the market today. Let Skate Tech help you take your on-ice performance to the next level with the edge of pros trust. Check them out at skatetechsharpening.com.
Ho.com. Here we go. Oh, Vex, I'm excited for today.
Ooh.
I am excited for today. It's 2026. You want to know what that means?
It's a new year.
It is a new year, but it also means that the Olympics, the Winter Olympics 2026 in Italy is coming, and it's coming fast. And over the last couple days, the rosters for all the teams were announced, and social media is ablaze with all the mistakes that Team Canada and Team USA made in taking certain players and leaving certain players off. And so today, what I wanted to do is talk a little bit about the snubs, talk about the snubs of the Olympics, and basically have a conversation about how to build a roster for a tournament like this. And so big picture, actually smaller picture, couple really good players got left off these rosters. Really, really good players. You think about Team USA, Adam Fox getting left off the roster as a defenseman. Harvard guy, so I'm okay with it. Anyways, I had to coach against him. Sick player, obviously. But he got left off the roster, which caused a pretty big stir. Jason Robertson from the Dallas Stars, one of the top scorers for American-born players in the NHL this year, also left off the roster. You look at Team Canada, Connor Bedard, young player, one of the best players in the league, top 5 scorer before he got hurt. He gets left off the roster. Evan Bouchard, another top scoring defenseman, power play, quarterbacks the power play for the Edmonton Oilers, which has been the top power play in the league over the past, 3-4 years, whatever it may be. And so a lot of it's funny, like the analytics community and kind of like the old school hockey community are locking horns right now as to why certain people were put on, why certain people were left off the roster. And it certainly seems like the teams, especially Team Canada and Team USA, are building this to be heavy. They are teams that are building this in much more of a top 6, bottom 6 type atmosphere than we're just taking the best players type thing. And so, you played on Team USA in international competition. Let's hear it from you, man. Like what is important, for you? You've trained guys that have gone on to play for Team USA. You played for Team USA yourself. What's important in building rosters for these short tournaments like that, and just talk a little bit about, certain guys that were on that maybe a little bit older, maybe not as offensive, but might be able to play a role versus taking, some young studs that would be really, really good. Again, like you look at the litany of some of these players that got left off, Lane Hudson, Cole Caulfield, Jacob Chikrin on the Canadian side. Like there are some freaking Seth Jarvis, like some really good players that got left off. Let's go. Let's hear it. What do you got?
I think short competition and all guys that haven't played together on the same team, I think that it's really important to pick guys who are going to know their role and execute the role that you're putting them in, because it's only a few games. It's very, 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 very small amount of games. So you want to pick guys who are very confident and comfortable in the role that you are going to be putting them in, and that they're going to excel at that role and do exactly what their job is. And I think that's probably why you have some guys in the spots that you do versus maybe some of those big names that you just heard, is literally because, like, if I'm a coach or a GM and I'm, picking a guy for third line left wing, like okay, do we need a killer? Okay, he's got to be able to kill. He's got to be able to be what a third line left winger is, what we're looking for out of this team. He's got to be okay with that role. He's got to relish that role, wear that jersey with pride and do everything he possibly can to excel in the role that we're giving him. And I think that's what I would assume is why the team was built the way that the teams were built the way that they were.
No, 100%. And both GMs have said as much. This is players that have to come in and accept roles and things like that. And I'll take it a step further too, Vex. Like in a short competition, momentum matters. In a short competition, resilience matters. In short competition, team chemistry matters. Like those things matter and can't really be analyzed from an analytics standpoint, and so when you look at, it's actually crazy because these staffs have been able to evaluate these players over the past couple of years, but they also were able to evaluate them in the locker room at the Four Nations Cup last year, right? So like they were there and they could see the team chemistry and everything like that. And what people don't understand too is that like when Bill Guerin or Doug Armstrong are like putting these teams together, like it's not just them and their coaching staff. You better believe they're talking to the players that are on the team. Hey, who's a guy that you would want to play on your line? Hey, who's a guy that you would want to take a face-off in a 6-on-5 situation when we're down or when we're up? Hey, who's a guy that when we're not going, really, really well, we need a momentum push. We got to get back to it. Who's a player that's going to lighten things up in the locker room? Like they're not just looking at hockey stuff. They're looking at intangible locker room chemistry, culture stuff too. Like that stuff, if you talk to anybody who's been in these competitions, and you have, and I've talked to coaches that have coached World Juniors. I've talked to coaches that have coached at some of these other international competition for the USHL or for the Henlinka tournament, like all these different international stuff. And like that stuff really matters. And so they're not just looking at analytics. They're not just looking at, who these players are on the ice during the NHL year. Like they're looking at the fit that they have in a role like you're talking about, and the fit that they have in the locker room too. Like, you know what I mean?
I think the fit in the locker room, man, this is something that I don't think anybody maybe really understands until they get to like the higher levels of hockey, probably. Like when you have veterans that have in the locker room that all the younger guys look up to and trust, and they've won big things, Stanley Cups, been to the Olympics, won Olympic gold medals, won World Juniors. Like when those guys, like experience in playoff hockey is so freaking important. Like it's not something that I believed in when I was a kid, like in juniors and stuff. And then I got to pro and I was like, wow,
it's just different. It's different. It's a different game.
When you have a guy that has experience there winning, it's invaluable. Their presence in the locker room, their presence on the bench, their presence in practices after you lose a game and it's a win or go home game tonight or tomorrow. Those guys in the locker room that have been in those situations and can change the temperature of the room, whether pop it up or bring it down, because they can say, we were in the same situation at this point and this is how we did it. Like we're going to do it. It matters. It matters a lot. And so obviously the role playing, like you said, but then like the character of the guys and their experiences, and do the guys look up to them and things like that, I think are so effing important in a very short tournament style team like you're going to have in the Olympics here.
Yeah. And I would love to play devil's advocate here too, because that's also important, because it's not one way and nothing else. Like there's pros and cons to picking teams in different ways, but like injuries is a real thing in international competition too, right? Like Mitch Marner goes down, you probably want Connor Bedard on your roster, to fill that type of role,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and things like that. So like, that's where when you go the other way, like you want as skilled of a roster as humanly possible, because at the end of the day, you do need to score goals to win games in international competition too.
Yeah.
But like legitimately, like you look at the Four Nations tournament that happened last year, and you look at how physical that was, and you look at how much those players like grinded for every inch in those games, like the Kachucks, 2 fights in the first 2 like minutes of the, like they, so like, and that's not to say that some of the players that got left off wouldn't be able to do those things too, because a lot of them would be able to do those things too. But like I think it's important to have a whole conversation about how to pick teams and you're not picking a team for an 82 game season either. You're picking a team for a truncated couple week type of tournament. And so there's just a lot of different variables that go with it. Analytics 100% needs to be a part of it. No question. The eye test 100% has to be a big part of it. Having conversations with different players that you know are going to be on the team has to be a big part of it. Injuries has to be a big part of it. There are so many different things that you have to look at. And I feel like when people are looking at these rosters, they're only looking at it in kind of like a narrow view, one way or the other.
Right.
When in reality, building rosters for something like this, there's a lot of different things that go with it. I will say, I don't know how awkward it's going to be for Mike Sullivan and Adam Fox for the rest of the year with the Rangers being the coach and leaving his top defenseman off. And again, like that, whether he was part of that decision or not, or whatever, like it's a collaborative effort between the coaching staff and the GM and the support staff, but like, that's going to be awkward. That's going to be really, really awkward. Probably already is, but yeah, man, like there's, I feel for the players that got left off. And again, the proof will be in the pudding. If Canada or US doesn't win the gold, then maybe they made the wrong decisions. Who knows? But those wrong decisions, is it when teams don't win it, it's for different reasons. It could be injuries where then maybe you wanted some of the skilled players to replace, or maybe the team, just luck, or the room wasn't right. There's, again, like you can second guess all of these decisions that'll be made, but really we're not going to know if they were the right decisions until whoever's up on that podium.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be a fun Olympics.
Dude, I cannot wait. It's going to be unbelievable. So anyways, social media ablaze, like people were going after the brass of Team USA and Team Canada over the past couple of days. And, yeah, man, it's a tough job, and there's a lot of work that goes into picking these teams. And so it's a thankless job. It's a thankless job to say the least. And so looking forward to the Olympics, and thought it'd be fun to bat around here on short shifts this week. First one of 2026. Let's go. Share the show.
Share it.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.